Okay, guys, very welcome back to game week 37 of the Fantasy Chancer, the fantasy football show we bring you here each and every week on the Upper Tier podcast on YouTube. Just going to kick into last week's team from myself. So in goals, Kaylor Navas unfortunately didn't keep a clean sheet, finished on 2 points. I went with the double of Espitan and Dunk, and unfortunately Newcastle absolutely hammered Brighton a couple of days ago there. So, well, Espitan got a goal against Arsenal and Dunk kept a clean sheet. The bookings and whatever brought them back. So, a grand total of 23 points between two players wasn't a bad result. So Sven Botman, no clean sheets for Newcastle. Alex Moreno, no clean sheet for Villa. In the middle of the park, I went for Salah. He got 12. McAllister, 3. He only came off the bench in what was kind of disappointing from Brighton against Newcastle on Thursday. They just rested players, which Niall touched on it on Thursday Tier Talk. He said, I can't understand why they're resting players, and neither can I. Martinelli and Saka not in the game at all against Brighton for 3 points, and Harry Kane pops up with the usual goal, and Erling Haaland captain for 14. Last week I played my bench boost, so Sam Johnston got 6. Unfortunately, Jacob Murphy got an injury. Ivan Toney, well, we know what's going on with him. 0 points, and Ben White for 1. Incidentally, Brentford looking to tie down Ivan Toney to a long-term contract. And it looks like he is not going to be playing football until next January, which is a shame. But if you break the rules like that, that is what's going to happen. So if you go into the upper tier for a bench boost week, I was hoping to do a bit better, but we can see that Kirk Loco still on top there at 2386, and Graham Ward just behind him on 2379. So it's between those two boys, I think, to take the crown this year. If we scroll on down, Darren had a fantastic week, the highest in the league, 125 points to put him on 2184. And Greg jumped above me as well last week with 2144, and I'm on 2139 in 14th place, which isn't ideal after saving that chip for so long and for not to really pay dividends, probably due to Brighton, the second game, but it is what it is. So what am I going for this week? I'm going with Kaylor Navas and goals, Arsenal at home, which is interesting because Arsenal really have nothing to play for this weekend except for pride. And Nottingham Forest, you would think, are safe at the moment. So, it's going to be a strange game this evening for the 5:30 kickoff. So, what could I see happening? I could see a draw maybe happening there. So, I went with my two boys again, Dunk and Espitan. Southampton at home, you would expect Brighton to hammer Southampton, really. But then Man City at home, which Brighton's going to turn up? I can't believe we're saying which Brighton's going to turn up because they've been so good all season, but so inconsistent the last few weeks with the Everton hammering. Then they beat Arsenal, then they get hammered by Newcastle. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Sven Botman there with Leicester at home. You'd expect that will pretty much confirm that Leicester are going down this weekend. So I had to make a few changes. I brought Eze in, who's absolutely in flying form against the Fulham team that are kind of on the slide. And I know a lot of people were giving out about Marco Silva being nominated for Manager of the Year, but really Fulham have overachieved. And people were probably expecting them like 2 years ago when they were up to be in a relegation dogfight, and they were nowhere near it this year. So I think Marco Silva has done a fine job there. Mo Salah absolutely in form at the moment. Aston Villa at home. That's going to be a very tricky game for Liverpool because Villa, like Brighton, have been inconsistent lately. So, you just probably pip Liverpool to win that game, but it's going to be ultra tight. I think Emery will have them set up in a way to counter attack Liverpool, and they can be susceptible at times, as we've seen this year. Alexis McAllister in the midfield, double round again. Southampton, you'd expect maybe him to get some glory there. Manchester City, we just have to see on that one. I don't know. I think Manchester City are going to win all their games between now and the end of the season, including both finals. So Bukayo Saka is still in there. I probably should have taken him out at this point, but Nottingham Forest away, possibility he might do something. Harry Kane then, Brentford at home. As I say, every week, if someone is going to score, it's going to be Harry Kane. And I'll say no different this week. Erling Haaland then obviously with a double round captaincy of Chelsea at home and Brighton away. Surely with the way Chelsea are playing, that Manchester City this is going to be pretty much a walk in the park, you would think, unless Chelsea can raise their game. Either way, the league is done anyway. Manchester City are champions. Callum Wilson I've also drafted in for this week. He's in fantastic form. So with Leicester at home, there's an opportunity there for Wilson to get a few more goals, get into the England squad for the upcoming fixtures. And that'll be probably on his mind, as Newcastle have pretty much cemented, I think, the top four after their victory the other night against Brighton. So then on the bench, I have Sam Johnston, Ben White, Alex Moreno, and obviously Jacob Murphy is injured, so he will not feature. So that is what I am going with this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this channel. Well over the 700 now. Boys are doing an incredible job, and I will see you next week for game 38, and we might do maybe a live recap. We can have a word with Niall, and we can do some kind of bonus show for the end of the year, and we can talk about fantasy football, and that's what we do here every week on the upper tier. Like, subscribe, share, and I am over and out, as a famous man once said.